Well, hey there, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day or night, and welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm Deluxe. All right, let's do another freaking Transformer review because I love some freaking Transformers. Today, we'll be taking a look at, a couple days ago, I did a review for Death Cobra from Iron Factory. If you don't mind, go check it out. And today, we're going to do the combining of Liokaiser with Death Cobra to replace Hellbat and everything. But I'll show you everything with Hellbat. You can do some stuff with him. There's a couple options, which is pretty cool. Really excited for that. But yeah, we're going to do the combining parts and everything and the weapons and stuff. He does come with some blades and stuff, and I'll show you all that and everything. So really cool, excited to do this. So yeah, if you don't mind, like I said, I did this on Thursday. If you don't mind, go watch that review for Death Cobra. But today we're going to combine them with Liokaiser. So hit me up some likes, shares, prayers, and Care Bears. Hit that sub button for me if you don't mind. Hit me up to comments and everything. As always, I love reading your comments. I always try to respond to everybody. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Everything's in the description. Go order some stuff. This is where I got everything. I got all of these from Show Z. Use Deluxe32 at the top right there. Says your favorite YouTuber. I may not be your favorite one, but if you don't mind helping out the channel, I would love that. So let's just get right to it, and let's combine Liokaiser with Death Cobra. All right, all right, all right. Let's go, man. I love this stuff, man. Who doesn't love some Legends figures? Well, I know a lot of people don't, but I do. So yeah, let's get right to it. All right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take Death Cobra. He's going to be in his alt mode. He's going to go on the back. We got, Hellbat as the one of the arms right now. We'll switch that around a little bit, but we're going to go over the accessories that he comes with him. So he comes with these blades and everything. And what the cool thing is, you can take the Breastmasters and kind of like what Armada does with the Minicon, you can tab them in, which is pretty cool. You don't have to have them on there at all if you don't want to. But you got some nice articulation, little hands right there, swivel and up and down. And same thing for up there and everything. That's pretty cool. You got some nice silver paint, some silver accent, paints right there and all that good stuff. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece. This goes with the Jaguar. And you're going to basically take, right here and tab that in right there. And there you go. I already did this one too as well. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a Liokaiser, turn them around. There's two slots right here. And you're going to take this post right here and tab it in right there, like that. And do the other side the same thing. Take this piece and tab it in right there. And there you go. That looks wicked. That completes that part. And like I said, you can move the wings however you want to. I think it looks pretty badass. A couple things here is the forearm and hand. That's going to be for Death Cobra. You got the little elbow piece right there. Then you got these two little adapters. And one is for, I think they're both the same. One is for, Death Cobra, and the other one is for Hellbat. So you can take him and combine them on the back, and I'll show you that in a second. And here's one of the weapons. There's a couple options to do the weapons. I just chose this one. Easy to build, really cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn him around, and you're going to take Death Cobra. And then there's a little hole right there. You're going to take off the chest plate, and you're going to tab it in right there. These little two things right here are going to go in like that. And there you go. Kind of secures that. Little ratchet right there, up and down. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that little hole right there, and you're going to put something in it. Giggity. And see if I can put it in real quick. Well, come on. Let's see. Let's try again. There we go. And like I said, you can lean it forward or back a little bit. But there you go. There's Death Cobra hanging on the back of Liokaiser. And that is awesome. Now, that's a great option to have that. That is pretty cool. And, yeah, I like it. Like I said, you have a couple holes. I didn't put one over here, but you can put one, if you want to. However you want to. It's your Transformer. Have fun with it. I think that's pretty freaking wicked, man. That's awesome. So as far as articulation, doesn't really lose anything. You can't go all the way around, but you still can, lift his arm up and everything. Kind of got to be careful and everything. So you can do that. So you got the same, kind of motion that you have with him without it and everything. So you can go out to there, all that good stuff, everything. But, these do kind of get in the way. But that's Iron Factory. They're known for that and everything. So there you go. That looks cool. I like it. So there is Liokaiser with Death Cobra on the back of him. and everything, and all his wings and all that stuff. And like I said, you can add on, like I said, you can take them off. You don't have to have them on there if you don't want to. Just have fun with it. There you go. Oh, real quick, there he is holding his weapon real quick. Now, I forgot to mention also, he does become a little back heavy. I still think he has great stability, especially with this and everything. But, you know, with the added extra wings and, you know, Death Cobra back there, it may be a little bit, so you may have to lead him forward a little bit. Not much. I didn't have to, really, to be honest. I think he's standing straight up. But, just be wary of that. You know, like I said, it does add some stuff on the back of him to kind of make him a little back heavy, but I think he still stands up pretty good. So there you go. There he is holding that weapon, and with all the stuff on his back, man, that looks freaking awesome, man. That is so wicked. Alrighty, back for transformation. Here is what the arm looks like. Fortunately, it doesn't tab in the greatest right here. You know, it just kind of fits in that hole. Giggity. But, you know, it's supposed to sit right there. And, yeah, you got the arms sitting right there. All the good stuff. Like I said, you have to have the chest piece off to have that hole so you can stick it in there. Another giggity. But, yeah, this is basically what it looks like. Tabs in right there. Pretty secure, you know, I'd say that. All right, we'll put this on real quick onto Liokaiser. And try to move that out of the way. Okay, so it's might get in the way a little bit, so may need to move those a little bit out of the way. So stick this. I have to lift it up a little bit. All right, and there you go. So yeah, these may be in the way a little bit, the propellers. So you may have to move them a little bit forward so it won't, so it'll clear the back pieces off everything. So, but there you go. There is Death Cobra replacing Hellbat. And speaking of Hellbat, he's over here. So same thing you did with him. You're just gonna take this, kind of got that there, and once again, and then you can turn around and stick it in the same hole. Okay, giggity. All right, and there is Hellbat on the back of Liokaiser with Death Cobra as the arm now. That looks pretty good. Now, articulation with him, it's going to be a little limited. I mean, it's going to be the same, basically, but like I said, you're going to have to move these out of the way because they will, you know, hit that and everything. But, you know, well, don't do that. Put that back on, and, you know, you can lift it up. So it's going to lose a little bit of articulation because it has so much stuff up here at the top. And like I said, I wish that tabbed in a little better right there. But you can get some articulation out of it, but it's going to be limited just because of so much stuff on the top and everything. But there you go. I did take off the little breastmasters. Like I said, you could have it in your way. You know, I think it looks pretty cool like that. But, you know, the option to have them on there is pretty cool. I think that's awesome. But this looks really good. I really like it. Either way, having it, you know, that way. So there you go. There is Death Cobra as an arm and Hellbat on the back. Real quick, there he is next to the King Toys Predator King, and I think they look freaking awesome together. Man, it's a lot of stylization, but man, they are looking really spiffy together, really nicely done. So there you go. There's King Toys Predator King with Liokaiser from Iron Factory. Awesome sauce, man. Let's go. Well, hey there, everybody. If you made this far, as always, I freaking appreciate that. All right, final thoughts on combining Death Cobra with Liokaiser. Once again, like I said, you know, throughout the reviews I've done of this guy, it's great. It's a great combiner. I love it. Me, honestly, I prefer Hellbat to be the arm and then have Death Cobra on the back because he does lose some, you know, articulation, especially with all this stuff right here. Kind of gets in the way and everything. And it's not the greatest connection. So whenever you're trying to lift him up and everything, he will come untab on mine. Hopefully yours is a little better. But yeah, it's not the greatest connection sitting there and everything. But what I love about this, there's so many options, lots of options you can do. Like I said, you know, these little wings getting away from him articulate with Death Cobra on him like that. But you can take them off. You know, you take off the guns and the wings, and you can have it, you know, without him. You have different options for the weapons. You have different options, like I said, with Death Cobra or Hellbat. Like I said, I think I prefer the way Hellbat transforms, and it doesn't really get in the way for articulation. I think I prefer that. But I do like Death Cobra. I think that's a great addition to this team and everything, and I'm glad they threw him in there. But like I said, there's so many options like that. You can, you know, switch around stuff and everything. That is pretty freaking awesome. So yeah, options are always great for Transformers. Like I said, you can take those off. You can make the, you know, the back guns. You can hold the guns too as well and everything. So I didn't show you all the options you can do, but I showed you a couple. Like I said, you can take everything off and just leave them like, you know, like he is and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, the options with the weapons, there's like 3 or 4 options you can do with that. That is pretty cool. So overall, I highly recommend this set. It's a great set. You can add on the, you know, the breastmasters on the wings. That's pretty cool. You don't have to have them on there like I don't have them right now. So like I said, just more options, and that's pretty cool. And he just looks awesome. Him, like I said, that picture with him and Predator King look really freaking great together, man. Just, man, good stuff. So yeah, I do recommend this guy. He is pretty freaking sweet. So I hope you like that little, review of, you know, adding Death Cobra with Liokaiser. Hit me up on likes, shares, prayers, and Care Bears. Hit that sub button for me if you don't mind. Hit me up some comments. Tell me you thought of the review. Are you going in for all 7, or do you just want the 6, you know, and you're happy with that? And that's pretty cool. You know, like I said, Death Cobra is just a bonus, like a cherry on top. You know, you don't have to have him. So that's pretty cool. And they give options to carry him on the back. That is freaking sweet. So I like that. Go to Show Z, order some Transformers, hit Deluxe 32 up there at the top. It really helps out the channel. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok if you don't mind. Everything's in the description. I really appreciate that. And I guess I'll see you in the next Transformer review. And as always, be good to yourself. Man, hell freaking Transformers. And man, hell freaking Iron Factory. I cannot wait for them to announce. I know they got Minosaur coming from the Samurai series, but I would love to have another combiner down the pipeline. That would be pretty cool. I'm just waiting for a lot of Legends company to show off some new stuff, man. It's always a great time to be a Legends collector because there's so much coming out. So I really appreciate that. So, yeah, man, just awesome. Look how he just looks so freaking sweet, man. I love it, man. And now, folks,